To M.D. Isayeva, Semipalatinsk, June 4th, 1855. I am infinitely grateful to you for your nice letter written while you were on your journey, my dear and unforgettable friend, Maria Dmitrievna. I hope that you and Alexander Ivanovich will allow me to think of you both as my friends now. Indeed, we were friends here, and I hope we shall remain such. How could separation change us? It will not, judging by the strength of my attachment for you and how miserable I feel without you, my dear friends. Imagine this is already the second letter I am writing to you. My answer to your kind, heartfelt letter was all ready to leave with the last mail, Maria Dmitrievna, but it didn't go out. Alexander Yegorich, with whom I wanted to send it to the post office, suddenly left for Zemiev last Saturday, unbeknownst to me, and I found out about his departure only on Sunday. His servant also vanished for 2 days, and so the letter has remained in my pocket all this time. Such a pity. And as I write now, I am still uncertain whether I'll be able to send off this present letter. Alexander Yegorich still isn't here, but they have sent a special messenger to get him. We are expecting at any moment the visit of the Governor General, who, for all I know, may have arrived at this very minute. I understand he intends to remain here for 5 days, but enough of that. Tell me, rather, how you arrived in Kuznetsk and whether, God forbid, anything untoward happened during your journey. You wrote that you were upset and even felt ill. I'm still terribly worried about you. Moving from one town to another in itself involves so much bother and unavoidable inconvenience, and when there's illness on top of it all, it becomes positively unbearable. I think of you all the time. Besides, you know what a worrier I am, so you can imagine my anxiety. My God, this fate, these trials and tribulations and petty annoyances. Is that what you deserve? You who could be the adornment of any society? Accursed fate, I am waiting impatiently for a letter from you. Ah, if only it would come with this mail. I went to find out, but Al Yeg still isn't here. You write that you wonder how I am spending my time and that you don't know how I have organized the hours without you. Well, for 2 weeks now, I've been so sad that I don't know what to do with myself. If only you knew how bereaved I feel here now. Indeed, I feel these days very much the way I felt in 1849 when they arrested me for the first time and buried me in prison, after tearing me away from all that was near and dear to me. I became so accustomed to you. I never considered our acquaintance as just an ordinary one, and now, having been deprived of you, I have to understand a great deal. For 5 years, I literally lived alone without having anyone to whom I could unburden my heart. And then you accepted me as one of your family. I remember feeling thoroughly at home in your house. Alexander Ivanovich could not have looked after his own brother better than he looked after me. I caused you so much unpleasantness because of my difficult character, and notwithstanding, you both loved me. And I do understand and appreciate it because, after all, even I have a heart. And you are a marvelous woman. Your heart is full of marvelous childlike goodness. You are a true sister to me. The fact that a woman had offered me a helping hand was in itself a whole event in my life. The best man is, at certain moments, if you will allow me to say so, nothing but a stubborn fool. But a woman's heart, her compassion, her solicitude, her infinite kindness, such as we have no conception of, and which, out of our stupidity, we often fail to notice, is irreplaceable. All that I discovered in you, my own sister, could not have been kinder to me or more tolerant of my faults than you were. So that even if there were flare-ups between us, it was in the first place because I was an ungrateful pig, and in the second because you yourself were sick, irritated, and embittered over not being appreciated and understood by a society that is rotten. And a person of your energy cannot fail to become indignant at injustice. That is noble and honorable. All this lies deep down in your character, but life and its sorrows have, of course, exaggerated and exacerbated some of these features in you. But my God, you have enough in you to make up for it 100-fold. And since I'm not stupid all the time, I noticed and appreciated it. In brief, I couldn't help becoming attached to your household with all my heart, as if it were my own. I will never forget you two and will always be grateful to you. For I am convinced that neither of you understands what you have done for me and how much I needed people like you. You can't understand what I mean unless you've experienced it. If it hadn't been for you, I might have thoroughly petrified, but now I am a man once again. But enough of that. It cannot possibly be conveyed in a letter. A letter is an accursed thing, if only because it reminds one of separation, and in my case, everything reminds me of it. In the evenings at twilight, during those hours when I used to make my way to your house, an awful sadness comes over me. If tears were easy for me, I would weep, and you would probably laugh at me for it. My heart has always been that way. It grows onto things that are dear to it, so that when the time comes for me to tear it away from them, it bleeds. Now I am completely alone. I have absolutely nowhere to go. I am fed up with everything here. Such emptiness. There's only Ali Yegorich left, but his presence is painful to me, if only because I cannot help comparing his company with yours. You can only guess what the result is, and besides, he's not even at home. In his absence, I went a few times to the Cossack Gardens, where he had moved, and it was so sad. When I recall last summer and remember how you, poor thing, were longing to go for a drive somewhere out of town to get a breath of fresh air, but couldn't, I feel so sorry for you and so bad about it. But you remember once when we did succeed in driving out to the Cossack Gardens, you, Alexander Ivanovich, and I, and Yelena. How vividly I recalled everything when I was in the gardens this time. Nothing was changed there, and there was the bench, the same one on which we sat. Ah, it was so very sad. You write that I should move in with Wrangel, but I don't want to for a number of important reasons. One, money. Living with him, I should obviously have to spend more for lodging, servants, and food, and it would be unpleasant for me to live at his expense. Two, my character. Three, his character. Four, I have noticed that people often come over to his place and hang around, lots of people. It would sometimes be impossible for me to avoid their company, and I cannot stand people I don't know. Finally, I like to be alone. I have become used to it, and habit is a second nature. But enough of that. I've told you scarcely anything yet. After I had seen you off as far as the forest and said goodbye under that pine tree, which I marked with a notch, I walked back with Wrangel arm in arm. He led his horse by the bridle to the hospitable farmstead at the Peshinkonovs. And it was at this point that I felt so utterly forlorn. At first we could still see your carriage, then we could only hear it, and finally it was gone for good. We set out in our droshky and talked about you and how you would get to your destination. Mostly we spoke about you, Maria Dmitrievna, and then Wrangel quite casually told me something that made me very happy. On the morning of the very day you left, Peter Mikhailovich had invited Wrangel somewhere for the whole evening. Wrangel said he couldn't come, and when asked why, explained that he was seeing the Isayevs off. There were some other people present. At once, PM asked, "But didn't they say that you've only recently become acquainted?" Wrangel answered rather sharply that, although he hadn't known you for a very long time, yours was one of the houses in which he felt most comfortable, and that the mistress of that house, i.e. you, was a woman such as he had never met in Petersburg, and indeed did not expect to meet, a woman, he added, such as you have probably never met, and whom I consider it the greatest honor to know. I was very pleased with Wrangel's story. He is a man who certainly has met women of the highest society, for he was born into it, and has, I dare say, the right to speak out with authority on such matters. Talking of these things and saying nasty things about the Peshinkonovs, we reached the town just before daybreak, and the coachman, to whom we had forgotten to give instructions, drove directly to my place. Thus the tea that had been planned was out, and I was very pleased about it because I was terribly anxious to be alone. At home, it was a long time before I could get to sleep. I walked up and down my room, watched the sun come up, and called to mind the whole year that had passed so unnoticeably for me. I remembered everything, just everything, and as I thought about my fate, I felt very sad.